What if your arms could think for themselves? For an octopus, they do. 2/3 of its neurons aren't in its head. They're inside its arms. An octopus has around 500 million neurons, close to what you'd find in a dog. But instead of centralizing that processing power, the octopus spreads it across its body. When an octopus slides one arm into a narrow crack in the ocean floor, the arm doesn't wait for instructions. It feels rock texture. It tastes water through suction cups. It tests space. If it touches a crab, it grips and adjusts instantly. The central brain doesn't micromanage. The arm handles local decisions in real time, your hand reaching into a box you can't see. Now imagine your fingers choosing how to move, when to squeeze, what to grab, without your brain guiding each step. For an octopus, that's standard.
They're forming networks that are completely different from the networks we see in our brains.
Scientists call this a distributed nervous system. Control is shared, not centralized. Each arm contains dense nerve bundles that run basic action patterns independently. The brain still learns, remembers, plans, but it doesn't micromanage every movement. This design raises a question. If the arms react and adjust on their own, what is the brain doing? The octopus brain isn't shaped like ours. It forms a ring around the esophagus. Food passes through the middle when the animal eats. This structure allows efficient nerve pathways between eyes, arms, and body. The brain gathers information and sends broad signals. The arms handle fine details. The arm's independence isn't theory. In controlled experiments, when nerve connections between brain and arm are disrupted, the arm still responds to touch temporarily. It curls, it grips. Local neural circuits stay active until energy runs out. The system has layers of control. That layered control explains another fact. If an octopus loses an arm to a predator, it survives. The lost arm can keep moving briefly because nerve cells inside still fire. Over time, the octopus regenerates the arm. Few complex animals can do that. The octopus body isn't organized like most animals. It's modular. It spreads risk. It spreads control. Intelligence isn't locked in one place, and the nervous system is just the beginning. Inside the mantle, the octopus has 3 hearts. 2 pump blood to the gills for oxygen. The 3rd pumps oxygen-rich blood to the rest of the body. When the octopus swims using jet propulsion, the heart serving the body temporarily stops. This makes swimming exhausting. Most octopuses prefer crawling along the seafloor. Crawling keeps their system stable. Even the blood is different. Human blood uses iron to carry oxygen, making it red. Octopus blood uses copper in a molecule called hemocyanin. When copper binds oxygen, the blood turns blue. Hemocyanin works better than hemoglobin in cold, low-oxygen water. Many octopus species live in deep or chilly environments where oxygen is scarce. Their blue blood isn't decoration. It's a chemical solution to harsh habitat. Step back and look at the full design. A ring-shaped brain wrapped around a throat. 500 million neurons, most outside the head. Arms that sense, taste, and react independently. 3 hearts. Blue blood adapted for cold, oxygen-poor seas. This isn't how we expect complex intelligence to be built. We imagine a single brain directing a body like a pilot in a cockpit. The octopus doesn't follow that blueprint. Its control system is shared. Its body is flexible. Its structure challenges how we think advanced animals should look. And this is only the surface. If its body already breaks biology's rules, wait until you see what its skin can do. An octopus doesn't just change color, it changes identity. Under its skin are thousands of tiny pigment sacs called chromatophores. Each contains yellow, red, or brown pigment. These sacs are surrounded by muscles. When muscles contract, the sac expands and color becomes visible. When muscles relax, the sac shrinks and color fades. This happens in fractions of a second. The octopus doesn't slowly shift shades like a chameleon. It switches patterns almost instantly. But chromatophores are only the first layer. Beneath them are iridophores. These cells don't contain pigment. They reflect light using microscopic structures, creating blues, greens, and metallic flashes by bending and scattering incoming light. Deeper still are leucophores, which reflect white light and balance brightness, so the skin can match pale sand or dim rock. The result isn't a simple color change. It's a multi-layer optical system. Pigment, reflection, and brightness control work together. The skin becomes a living screen. All of it is controlled by nerves. When an octopus sees changes in its surroundings, Signals travel from eyes to brain to skin. Muscles around each chromatophore receive instructions and react almost immediately. In less than a second, the animal shifts from dark, rough pattern to pale, smooth one. In open water, hesitation means death, but color is half the illusion. The octopus also changes texture. Across its body are small muscular structures called papillae. Relaxed, the skin looks smooth. Activated, papillae rise and create bumps, spikes, or ridges. The animal mimics rough coral, uneven algae, jagged rock. The change is physical, not just visual. Now the question becomes harder. How can it match colors it cannot see? Most octopus species are believed colorblind. Their eyes detect brightness and contrast well, but they lack multiple color receptors like humans have. They don't see the full range of colors we do. Yet in experiments and in the wild, they match their environment with remarkable accuracy. In 2015, researchers discovered something surprising. Octopus skin contains light-sensitive proteins called opsins, the same proteins found in eyes. This suggests the skin itself may detect light. It may not see images, but it can sense brightness and possibly wavelengths directly on the body surface. That changes the picture. The skin may not wait only for instructions from eyes. It may sample light independently, feeding extra information into the system. The octopus doesn't need to see red the way we do to match a red surface. It responds to patterns of light and contrast in ways scientists are still studying. It doesn't disappear, it calculates. When an octopus settles on the sea floor, it does more than blend in. It studies edges, it tracks shadows, it mirrors shapes. Some patterns confuse predators by breaking up body outline. Others imitate specific objects like rocks or shells. In certain species, like the mimic octopus, individuals copy the shape and movement of venomous animals like lionfish or sea snakes to scare away threats. This isn't decoration, it's survival strategy powered by rapid data processing. Octopuses don't always hide the same way. They choose patterns depending on situation. When stalking prey, they use slow, shifting displays that calm the target. When threatened, they flash high-contrast patterns to startle a predator for a split second, just long enough to escape. Camouflage isn't passive, it's active decision-making, which leads back to the nervous system. With so many neurons in the arms and a brain coordinating visual input, the octopus runs a continuous feedback loop. It moves, it checks, it adjusts, it refines. The skin becomes an extension of thought. This system works in environments where light changes constantly. Water filters colors as depth increases, shadows shift with waves, sand ripples under currents. Yet the octopus keeps up. It matches not just color, but brightness and texture in real time. It doesn't just hide, it predicts. Predators often detect movement before color. The octopus counters by freezing at the right moment or flowing with water rhythm so its outline stays broken. It reads patterns in its environment and aligns itself with them. The deeper scientists study this ability, the clearer one thing becomes. This isn't simple reflex. It's a layered response built from vision, nerve control, skin mechanics, and environmental awareness working together. By now, the body design already feels unusual. Distributed neurons, 3 hearts, blue blood, add skin that shifts color and texture in less than a second, possibly sensing light on its own surface. And camouflage isn't even its smartest trick. Color change and flexible arms could be explained as advanced reflexes, fast nerves, fast muscles, survival pressure. That would make sense, but here's where it gets strange. In controlled lab tests, octopuses have solved problems requiring more than reflex. In one experiment, researchers placed food inside a clear jar with a screw-top lid. The octopus could see prey moving inside. To reach it, the animal had to grip the jar, twist the lid in the correct direction, and keep turning until it opened. Many individuals learned quickly. Some improved with practice. That's not random reaction. That's learning through trial and memory. Behavioral scientist Jennifer Mather, who has studied octopus cognition for decades, observed that octopuses explore objects in ways that look deliberate. They test textures. They manipulate unfamiliar items. They repeat actions that lead to rewards. When given puzzles, they don't attack, they investigate. This behavior isn't limited to labs. Public aquariums have documented repeated escape attempts. In several cases, octopuses lifted tank lids, slid through narrow gaps, crossed floors at night, and entered other tanks to feed on fish before returning to their own enclosure. staff discovered evidence only in the morning: missing fish, damp floors, and an octopus back in place. These weren't random movements, they were planned movements through unfamiliar space. Octopuses compress their soft bodies through openings no larger than their beak. That physical ability helps, but escape requires more than flexibility. It requires awareness of boundaries, memory of layout, and timing. Intelligence usually comes with something else: the ability to use tools. In 2009, researchers reported an observation that changed how scientists viewed octopus behavior. In Indonesia, a species nicknamed the coconut octopus was seen gathering discarded coconut shells from the seafloor. The octopus carried shells under its body for long distances. When threatened, it assembled two halves into protective shelter and hid inside. This wasn't random hiding. The animal transported materials for future use. Tool use is rare in invertebrates. It suggests foresight. The octopus wasn't reacting to danger in the moment, it was preparing for it. In colder waters, the giant Pacific octopus shows another form of planning. Observations from divers and marine biologists have recorded individuals arranging rocks and shells around their dens to form barriers. They build protective spaces and defend them. Some even block entrances after entering. That behavior shows spatial awareness and control over environment. In maze experiments, octopuses have demonstrated ability to remember correct paths after repeated trials. When researchers changed layout, the animals adapted. They didn't simply follow scent, they learned patterns. Over time, they reached goals faster. Short-term memory, long-term memory, and problem-solving aren't traits expected from animals that diverged from the vertebrate line over 500 million years ago. Yet octopuses display them consistently. Then there's something even more surprising. In captive settings, some octopuses have been observed engaging in what appears to be play. They've been seen repeatedly pushing objects like floating bottles into streams of water, watching them drift back and pushing them again. No food reward, no obvious survival purpose, just repetition of an activity for stimulation. It gets bored. That detail matters. Boredom suggests an active, curious mind. It suggests the animal seeks engagement beyond immediate survival. When octopuses in aquariums aren't given enrichment, they may become inactive or attempt escapes more frequently. When given puzzles or new objects, they interact with them in varied ways. This isn't mechanical behavior. Their eyes track movement with precision. Their pupils change shape depending on light conditions. They observe before acting. In some lab tests, octopuses have watched other octopuses complete tasks and then solved similar tasks themselves. Social learning in a mostly solitary animal is unexpected. All of this points toward cognition, not just reflex. The distributed nervous system that seemed strange earlier starts to make sense differently. Each arm explores. The brain integrates. Information flows across the body in loops. Decisions are made based on memory and context. There's a deeper layer to this intelligence. Unlike many mammals, most octopus species live only 1 to 2 years. They grow quickly, learn quickly, and die young. That compressed life cycle means they must adapt fast. They don't have years to refine skills, which raises a question. Why would an animal develop this level of intelligence if it doesn't live long enough to build complex social systems or pass knowledge to the next generation? Because intelligence usually comes with something else: cooperation, communication, culture. Octopuses are mostly solitary. They don't build civilizations. They don't raise their young together. Their intelligence evolved along a different path. That makes it harder to compare them to anything familiar. The more scientists study them, the clearer it becomes their problem-solving isn't an accident. It's flexible, it's contextual, it adapts to new situations, it involves memory and choice, which leads to something even more unexpected. If a creature can learn, solve puzzles, use tools, escape confinement, and show signs of boredom, something deeper is happening inside its mind. Boredom means something deeper is happening. Up to this point, the octopus already feels unusual: a distributed nervous system, skin that reacts like a living display, problem-solving that looks deliberate, but there's something deeper happening inside its cells. Octopuses belong to a group called cephalopods, and scientists have discovered they edit their RNA at levels rarely seen in other animals. To understand why that matters, we need to slow down. DNA is often described as a blueprint. It stays mostly stable. RNA is the working copy made from DNA. It carries instructions to build proteins, the molecules that make cells function. In most animals, RNA copies are used almost exactly as written. Small changes happen, but they're limited. In octopuses, that rule is different. Researchers have found cephalopods can edit thousands of RNA sites, especially in nervous system genes. This means they can slightly alter how certain proteins are built without changing underlying DNA. The genome remains stable, but working instructions can shift. It's not evolution in the dramatic sense. The DNA isn't rewriting itself. Instead, the octopus adjusts fine details of how proteins behave. Think of it as tuning the machinery rather than rebuilding it. Why would that matter? Many octopus species live in cold ocean waters where temperatures shift. Cold affects how proteins fold and function. By editing RNA, octopuses can modify proteins in nerve cells to work better under different temperature conditions. Studies comparing tropical and polar octopus species have shown RNA editing helps maintain proper nerve signaling in cold environments. That means their nervous system isn't just flexible in structure, it's flexible at the molecular level. This level of RNA editing is rare among animals. It comes with trade-offs. Scientists believe heavy reliance on RNA editing may slow long-term DNA evolution in these species. Instead of locking in permanent genetic changes, they use temporary adjustments. The mind isn't just learning from experience, it's fine-tuning itself in real time. Most octopus species live only 1 to 2 years. They hatch small, grow rapidly, reach maturity, reproduce once, and die. Their lifespan is short compared to many intelligent animals. A dog can live over a decade. Some parrots live for decades. An octopus compresses growth, learning, and reproduction into a brief window. Why would a creature this advanced live so briefly? The answer lies partly in biology, partly in strategy. Octopuses grow fast and invest heavily in reproduction. Their short life cycle may reduce long-term competition between generations, but that explanation feels incomplete when you consider their cognitive ability. And then there's sleep. For a long time, scientists didn't know if octopuses truly sleep in a way similar to mammals. Recent research suggests they experience 2 distinct sleep states, a quiet state and an active state. During active state, their skin rapidly changes color and texture. Their eyes twitch, their arms move slightly. The pattern looks similar to REM sleep in humans, the stage linked to dreaming and memory consolidation. Researchers observed that after learning tasks, octopuses showed changes in active sleep patterns. This suggests that, like mammals, they may process and organize information while asleep. The distributed nervous system rests in phases, then enters bursts of internal activity. Learning doesn't stop when they close their eyes. This isn't simple instinct. This is a nervous system that stores, adjusts, and refines. But the story turns darker here. After a female octopus mates and lays her eggs, her behavior changes. She finds a safe place and attaches strings of eggs to the surface. Then she guards them. She cleans them gently with her arms. She protects them from predators. She stops hunting. She stops eating. This isn't stress, it's biology. A gland near her eyes, called the optic gland, triggers hormonal changes after reproduction. These changes lead to self-destructive behavior. Her body begins breaking down. She grows weak. She may injure herself unintentionally. When the eggs hatch, she dies. This happens in most octopus species. Scientists have shown that if the optic gland is removed in laboratory conditions, the female can survive longer and even resume feeding. The process is programmed. It's not accidental decline. An animal capable of problem-solving, tool use, and complex camouflage invests everything into one final act of reproduction. The life is short. The mind is flexible. The nervous system edits itself at the molecular level. Sleep may support learning. And then, after reproduction, the body shuts down by design. It forces a hard question. Why build such advanced intelligence into a creature that lives so briefly and dies so completely after a single reproductive cycle? And this is where the story moves into its most emotional territory. What happens next isn't just biological. It's a sacrifice written into the system itself. After laying her eggs, a female octopus does something impossible to ignore. She chooses one place, a rock ceiling, a narrow cave, a protected ledge. She attaches thousands of small eggs in long, delicate strings. Then she stays, for weeks, sometimes months. She doesn't leave to hunt. She doesn't defend territory for herself. She cleans the eggs gently with the tips of her arms, removing algae and debris. She pushes fresh water over them so they receive oxygen. If a predator approaches, she fights, she grows thinner, weaker, and this isn't an accident of exhaustion. It's triggered from within. The optic gland, located near the eyes, releases hormones after reproduction that change her entire physiology. Studies have shown this gland controls the rapid aging process. When scientists experimentally removed the optic gland in laboratory conditions, females resumed feeding and survived longer. With the gland intact, the decline is inevitable. She stops eating. Her body begins breaking down while she's still alive. Her skin may lose tone, her movements slow. By the time the eggs hatch, she's close to death. Soon after, she dies. The hatchlings drift away on ocean currents, alone from the first moment of life. There's no teaching, no guidance, no transfer of culture, and yet, the species continues. In 2018, researchers exploring deep waters near Costa Rica discovered something unexpected. Around hydrothermal vents, where warm water rises from the ocean floor, they found large groups of octopus mothers brooding their eggs together. The site became known as an octopus nursery. Hundreds of females gathered in the same region, guarding eggs in warmer water that sped up development time. This was surprising because octopuses are often described as solitary animals. They don't form packs. They don't build long-term social bonds like dolphins or primates. Yet here they were, sharing space during reproduction, drawn to conditions that improved survival for their young. It showed that even in a mostly solitary species, behavior can shift when environment demands it. The more we study them, the more contradictions appear. They're intelligent, but they don't build societies. They can learn, but they don't pass knowledge across generations. They solve problems, yet they live alone. They invest heavily in offspring, yet never meet them as adults. Intelligence, in this case, doesn't lead to civilization. It leads to survival. Perhaps that's the most unsettling part. We often think of intelligence as a ladder that leads toward language, cities, technology, and culture. The octopus proves intelligence can evolve in a completely different direction. It can remain underwater, silent, individual. Its nervous system is distributed. Its skin reacts like a living display. Its genes adjust at the molecular level. Its life is short and intense. Its final act is sacrifice. Nothing about that path mirrors ours. And yet, it works. The octopus has survived for hundreds of millions of years, through mass extinctions and shifting oceans. Long before humans appeared, it was already mastering camouflage and problem-solving in deep water. So the question changes. Maybe the octopus doesn't look alien because it's strange. Maybe it looks alien because we assumed intelligence had only one design. If intelligence can evolve like this here, what else is possible? In the deep ocean, there may be other solutions we haven't yet imagined. Other nervous systems, other strategies, other forms of awareness that don't resemble our own. The octopus doesn't need cities or language to be remarkable. Its existence alone expands the definition of what a mind can be. And perhaps that's the final lesson. Not that it doesn't belong on Earth, but that Earth has always been capable of producing minds stranger than our expectations.